Thank you for pressing play on this video. Today we're talking about additional strategies that you can use when you're publishing coloring books that will really help you stand out and help customers find you. As you can see here, I've typed in unicorn coloring books and there is only 723 in the results. So that is a great start. It can be a little bit competitive, but let's look at the clues that publishers, self publishers specifically, are taking to make their books stand out. Now, first of all, you already know that Amazon customers, they absolutely judge a book by its cover. So make sure that you are taking these things into consideration when you're actually publishing. What I've done here is I'm showing you things that were just recently published at the time of this video, so you can see that immediately you can start making sales. I would recommend that every time you publish a book, you actually buy it. If you're not willing to do that, then I think you need to create a better book. I don't say that to hurt feelings. I say that because you actually want the book in your hands so you can experience what the customer experienced. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to have an idea of how to make it better just by having that physical thing in your hand. It also allows you to be able to take pictures and do A+ content with it, which is always a bonus to keeping people on your page and keeping them buying. So we can see just from this first video this first book, that they have a good cover. It's very clear, it's very legible, it stands out. That is something different from the one next to it. While I'm sure this book took a lot of time to do color by numbers, it's just a little bit more difficult to read. Magical Friends, it's harder, right? And so just keep that in mind, that there's a reason. Sometimes the difference between a best-selling rank of 95,000 versus 335,000 is the cover creation, okay? Let's look at the third one, because this one, Peculiar Pony Coloring Book, they've decided, it's 26 days old. They've decided to use Peculiar to switch it up. It makes you wonder if the title was a little bit more legible, if it would not be in the 90s making $6 a day. It's off to the races, pun intended, with this unicorn, but there's little things to enhance to make it a little bit more stronger. Okay. So that is the first clue, right? Like, let's create covers that customers want laying around their house, that their kids are excited about, and like that their kids could read. Something that's also interesting about this second one is that they say it's for ages 4+, but this is actually really, really hard for even a 4-year-old to make sense of what is happening on this page. And so take clues from what's working from recently published books. Now, another reason that I'm sharing recently published books is because this is a great way to start making money a little bit quicker than looking for books that have 6,000 reviews and are 6 years old. All of the books that are being recommended by Amazon because of their historical data are going to be more difficult to compete with. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is, when you decide to do a coloring book line, it is always in the customer interest and your own best interest to be able to niche down by thinking of a series for your books to be included in. As you've seen in previous videos, I have talked about the ability that you have to protect your brand when it's in a series format. Okay. So this person has launched their first book in a series, Little Cutie Crafts and Education. Now, I have opinions on whether or not that is unique enough to trademark, but it is a step in the right direction, right? And anyone who buys this book will be notified when this self-publisher publishes another book. As we click into it a little bit deeper, we can actually see that any customer that purchases this book is actually able to even go to Little Cuties as a pen name, and if they had their pen name set up correctly up here at the top, they would be able to follow that pen name, right? And then every time you published, you would be able to be notified. Amazon would email your customer every time that you published. Okay. So you can see here that they're not really niching down that much under this pen name. but they are through this section. So keep this in mind as you're publishing, that this is a great way to protect a brand. And in addition to protecting the brand, understanding why these are being published is going to help you become a better self-publisher. I went back into books again and typed in unicorn coloring book without looking at the last 30 days. The last 30 days we saw 700. If we're just looking at what Amazon is going to suggest, there's over 50,000. So those are some of the reasons that we are niching down in a series like ability to be able to do that. Now, here's that example that I showed you. 22,000 reviews, 6 years old, and it has an actual whole setup for this, right? So let's actually be able to see the power of this in their publishing, okay? So 6 years ago, they published Coloring Unicorn book for kids age 4 to 8, okay? And once that book started selling, they continued to do more, okay? So just keep this in mind as you're self-publishing, that once you have that customer base, it's game on, right? You can see here that it is 15,000 BSR, and it is sold 23 times a day right now, and it's making $31 a day, and it is 5 years old. If we were to assume that the book has been making $26 a day, and it has been going for, let's actually do the math, 365 times 5 equals 1825 times $26 a day, $47,000 this book has made over the course of its life. Okay, so be thoughtful when you are getting into coloring book niches to build out a brand that the customers want. This is a good example because they are actually giving the customers more about who the buyer is. It's like not even knowing when you go in a shop who owns the store. And they have a lot of different books that they're publishing. So keep that in mind. Think about thoughtful, unique series that customers can come back to purchase your coloring books. Let me know how I can help you guys self-publish, and I'll see you in the next video.